So, as we begin to talk about water safety and the fundamental resource that we're looking at here, it's crucial to our existence and survival here on the planet. So, 880 million people in the world do not have access to safe water. So, roughly, that's 1 in 8 of the world's population that we're talking about. Um, 1.7 to 1.8 million people die every year from waterborne diseases in underdeveloped countries. That's mainly children. One child dies every 20 seconds from a disease related to the water that they drink. Uh, that's tough to watch. We've all seen those videos, and it's hard to see something like that. It's such a simple thing that we take for granted. So we really are lucky and fortunate to live where we do. But most important, we have to continue to protect this resource.
Hello and welcome to the Virginia Carolina Water Authority. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing us this opportunity to be a part of this presentation. We're here at the Virginia Carolina Water Authority, and I am Andy Blevins. I work for the town of Sparta and the ORC for the town of Sparta. I also help to operate the Virginia Carolina Water Authority, which serves both towns of Sparta and Independence from Virginia and North Carolina. So let's take an opportunity to go inside and see how the towns use this facility for clean water. Okay, so we're here at the lab and SCADA control room for the plant. Let me start out by saying that water is our most precious natural resource. Water's getting scarce though. There's no more on Earth than there's ever been. There's no less. But unfortunately, the contamination of water is easy enough to do, rendering it unusable for us. So we have to come up with several different processes, more so than in the last 20 years than we've ever had to before, to make sure that there is clean water. Clean water is so very important simply because it is the health of your community, not only for your industry, but also for each individual person. For our town, we actually serve 1,500 customers. That's 1,500 taps that we actually have within our system. For the town of Independence, there's 500 taps. During that day, we're responsible for the population's health. That's about 20,000 customers that may drink our water. So how many of you touch 20,000 people in a day, you might say? But that's what we're responsible for. Here at the plant, we certainly want to take care of the water that we send out to our customer. Okay, so we're here at the lab and SCADA control room for the plant. Let me start out by saying that water is our most precious natural resource. Water's getting scarce though. There's no more on Earth than there's ever been. There's no less. But unfortunately, the contamination of water is easy enough to do, rendering it unusable for us. So we have to come up with several different processes, more so than in the last 20 years than we've ever had to before, to make sure that there is clean water. Clean water is so very important simply because it is the health of your community, not only for your industry, but also for each individual person. For our town, we actually serve 1,500 customers. That's 1,500 taps that we actually have within our system. For the town of Independence, there's 500 taps. During that day, we're responsible for the population's health. That's about 20,000 customers that may drink our water. So how many of you touch 20,000 people in a day, you might say? But that's what we're responsible for. Here at the plant, we certainly want to take care of the water that we send out to our customer. Okay, so here at the Virginia Carolina plant, we're looking at the SCADA system and how we operate all of the assets that the municipal systems own. We have the tanks, the pumps, and transfer stations that are located with each town system. So from here we can take and operate these pump systems and tank systems from this SCADA. This SCADA allows us from our phones, from any device like our laptops, iPads, anything you really look up and take search information that we can manipulate these systems. As we look at it, there's pump stations that we can manipulate and change set points so that we're able to create water for the towns. That also allows us in emergency situations to retain water for a period of time. So we're able to make sure that the towns don't run out of water. That's important because we have prison systems, manufacturers, not only just the residents within our systems that require our water so that they can stay operational. So we'll take an opportunity now and we'll go out and look at the plant. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the microfiltration plant that we use to treat groundwater. Now there's several different types of sources of water. This happens to be right now groundwater, but as you can see if you pan back to the floor, we're kind of under construction, so we're getting ready to go to a surface water treatment plant. We'll be installing some clarifiers. So we'll have two different types of sources. Groundwater, which this is actually a GWEDI, groundwater under direct influence of surface water, and we will also be a surface water treatment plant. Now, the PAW unit itself, here are the filters, and these are microfilters. What they do is kind of pull the contaminants out. As the water is forced through by the skid unit, it filters that water, gets the irons, the manganese, and all the contaminants that's in there. Those contribute to the turbidity, which is an NTU. Okay, we also monitor and control that. There's several contaminant levels that we kind of control and take out of the water. Iron and manganese is one of our main contaminants that we have that we kind of control. So what we're doing is we're actually treating this water and disinfecting it using chlorines and phosphates, which make the water safe to drink. Okay, so this unit here is capable of making 1 million gallons per day. It's pretty small, we're a small rural area, so our requirements are not that much. There are units that are capable of making in the millions of gallons. Some of them guys will use more in their backwash than we'll produce it at. But it's important that we continue to remember that each drop counts. So we don't want to waste any if we don't have to. What we create in waste stream, we want to treat and make sure that we're not just contaminating it to the point that it can't be reused. So many just don't have access to water. We're capable to walk to our tap, just turn it on and get a glass. Some people don't have that capability. The water's contaminated and it's dangerous for them to drink. So this is why we do what we do, to protect the waters, not only for consumption, but as our natural resource for all operations. Okay, so where we're at now, we're looking here at our raw water intake. Raw water meaning non-potable. It's not drinkable. It's not yet been treated. Not yet been disinfected. So as our pumps from our system down in the field pushes water up to the plant, what we're doing is we're bringing the water in, we're pushing it into the tanks, storage tanks, holding tanks, going through the microfiltration system. Once the filters have done their job, it pushes the water into a holding tank, and this is our clear well underneath the building, capable of storing 25,000 gallons that we're using to push out to the distribution system. Okay, so here we have at the lab, we're testing for chlorine, we're testing for the pH, and these are a couple of pieces of equipment we use to monitor what the quality of our water is. We want to make sure that obviously we have the chlorine levels that we want so that it gets to the end of the distribution and is safe water for drinking and stay well within those parameters. Also, we want to monitor pH because the hardness, the alkalinity of the water can be affected by the pH. So we want to maintain the area we're staying in. If we get below, then we do some chemical adjustments to ensure that our water is operating according to how we would like it to. What we have here is our PAW skid unit. This is the controls for that filtration system that's sitting out there. This is the skid controls that allows us to monitor. As we look at it, we monitor the turbidity. We monitor the finished water turbidity, the raw water intake turbidities. We have the flows from the water that's coming in and the flow that we're sending out. So we can look at everything and take a snapshot of what our filtration plant's doing right there on the floor, and also monitoring our chlorines and things that are important, temperatures and everything else that will affect water quality. Okay, so we're here at the Allegheny 2 pumping station. This station's responsible for transfer of water from the Virginia-Carolina Water Authority to the town of Sparta. And in here we have some of those controls that we see on our phones and computers, but we also locally are able to control it at the pumping stations, manipulate the set points, and to utilize the water to the best ability possible. So I'd like to thank you today for coming out to the office here. As we look out, we look at our customers that are located here in the town of Sparta and all the customers that we serve here. We appreciate the opportunity to present to you today, and most of all, go Cats.